Here's a number landscapers never volunteer. The steel edging they install at your house for around $9 a foot, the exact same product sits on a shelf at Home Depot right now for $3.37 a foot. That gap is the markup, not the materials. HomeWise pulled the national average this year, $3.61 to $9.38 per linear foot, labor and materials included. For a 100-foot bed border, that's anywhere from $360 to nearly $1,000 for products a landscaper drove to the same Home Depot you'd drive to. Today, I'm walking through 10 edging ideas. Everyone cheap, everyone available this weekend at Home Depot or Lowe's. Everyone able to transform how your yard reads from the street. One is under $12 in materials. One is free if you know who to call. And number 5 is genuinely insane because the before and after looks like a different yard for less than dinner. Stick with me till the end. The last one is what landscape designers install at their own homes and rarely mention. Number 10, we're starting cheap, as in free if you've got friends who drink wine. Buried glass bottle edging. This one's got a deep tradition in folk gardening and the cost is essentially zero. You collect wine bottles from your kitchen, from friends, from a local restaurant that throws them out by the case every weekend. A standard wine bottle base is about 3 inches across, which gives you roughly 4 bottles per linear foot. Dig a shallow trench, flip the bottles neck down, and bury them so 2.5 to 3 inches stick up above the soil. The effect reads as deliberate and a little artistic, especially in dark green or amber glass. 2 honest things. Don't use clear bottles because seeds end up sprouting inside them. And this is a niche aesthetic. It works around a cottage garden, a cutting bed, a kid's play space, not a clean modern look. But for the right yard, this costs nothing but a Saturday afternoon. Number 9 is the same free or almost free category, but you trade bottles for logs. There's a service called Chip Drop. I'm genuinely surprised more homeowners don't know about. It connects you to local arborists looking to offload wood chips and logs from jobs they've already done. The wood is free. The arborist wins because they skip dump fees. You win because the material shows up at your driveway. 2 things to understand. You don't get to pick the day. And you have to accept the whole load, which can be up to 15 or 20 cubic yards. So this works best if you've got the space. For the logs themselves, species matters. Black locust and Osage orange. In ground contact lasts 20 to 25 years. Red cedar holds 15 to 20. Untreated pine, only 3 to 7. Ask the arborist what species he's dropping. Aim for hardwood. Skip the pine rounds, unless you don't mind redoing the edge in 5 years. Now, if log rounds feel too rustic, number 8 is the opposite. Clean, contained. The synthetic option. Artificial moss carpet used as a transition strip. And I want to be specific because there's a trap most people walk straight into. You go to Home Depot and you'll see a nearly natural 20 by 20 inch artificial moss mat for around $7. Looks great in the store. The problem is, that mat is indoor craft moss. Put it outside in direct sun and it fades to a sickly gray within 1 summer. The version that actually works outdoors is UV stabilized, outdoor rated panels, between $15 and $50 depending on size. Read the listing carefully. If it doesn't say UV stabilized or outdoor rated, it's the craft version and it'll embarrass you by July. Where this shines is as a transition between a hard surface, like a stone patio or a concrete walkway, and your planted beds. It's not a plant, it's a decorative strip, but for a shaded area where real moss won't grow, you get a polished look for under $50 across a long run. Number 7, now we're stepping into something with serious visual weight. Hand-stacked river rock. This is one of the most expensive looking edging styles on the whole list, and the math is way more reasonable than people think. Half cubic foot bags of river pebble at Home Depot run between $4 and $8 depending on variety. For edging, you don't need a pallet. You need a single line of stacked stones along your bed border, 6 to 12 inches wide. 3 or 4 bags cover a substantial stretch. One thing to flag, You'll see videos suggesting you collect river rock from local streams and beaches for free. That is not universally legal. National Park Service land prohibits removing any natural feature, period. Many state parks prohibit it. Some Bureau of Land Management areas allow limited personal collection, but rules vary. Check your state before you pick up a single rock. Rock has weight to it, both literally and visually. Number 6 gives you something more architectural, with some history behind it. Brick set at 45 degrees, goes by a few names: sawtooth, diagonal, soldier course. Whichever variation, it's a style that's been around since Victorian gardens in the 1800s and still reads as deliberate and high-end today. The pricing surprises people. Standard clay brick at Home Depot runs between 35 cents and 90 cents each. For a residential bed border, you don't need a pallet. A 15-foot run takes maybe 40 or 50 bricks, which puts you under $40 in materials. Installation matters more than the brick itself. Dig a 4 to 5 inch trench, compact a base of sand, set the bricks at the angle, tap them with a rubber mallet until they're snug. The classic sawtooth has each brick tilted so a corner points up. That tilt throws a small shadow line that ends up framing the entire bed. And that shadow line is the detail that makes the whole thing read as professional. All right, number 5, stick with me because the before and after on this one is going to make your jaw drop. And the math is honestly embarrassing for the rest of the industry. Concrete blocks painted black. That's it. That's the idea. Standard 8x8 by 16 inch concrete masonry. Blocks at Lowe's run around $1.22, with a range from $1.07 up to $2.58. For a small bed border, 8 blocks at $1.50 each comes out to $12. A 1-gallon can of Drylock Original Masonry Waterproofer is $9.98 at Home Depot, and you can tint it dark. Or grab a Bare Premium Masonry paint, which Home Depot will tint to 32 colors, including a true matte black. The whole transformation on a small bed lands under $30. Here's why it works visually. Gray concrete block reads as cheap. Black concrete block reads as architectural. Same shape, same texture, same product, but it stops looking like a construction site and starts looking like a Brooklyn townhouse front. 2 practical notes. Use masonry-rated paint, not regular exterior paint, because the block is porous. Prime 2 coats. Touch up every couple of years. Quick thing before I keep going. If this is the kind of stuff you're looking for, the small projects that actually move the needle, hit subscribe down there. New ones go out every week. Back to it. After concrete blocks, number 4 is the opposite approach. No construction, no painting. You're just drawing a line with color. Colored gravel as a contrast line. This is the cheapest, fastest visual upgrade on the entire list, and it requires 0 construction skills. Vigoro P gravel at Home Depot, half cubic foot bag, $5.97. Decomposed granite in brown sits in the same range. Black or red lava rock runs about $6 to $9 a bag. The idea is simple. You're not building a wall. You're drawing a line. Dig a shallow trench along your bed border, 2 to 3 inches deep, lay landscape fabric to suppress weeds, and fill it with a gravel color that contrasts with your mulch. If you're using natural hardwood mulch, decomposed granite and tan gives a soft Mediterranean feel. If your hardscape is more modern, black lava rock against cedar mulch reads as deliberate and contemporary. Who's tracked search interest in decomposed granite landscapes, and it jumped 37% year over year between 2024 and 2025. Total cost for a 20-foot border, somewhere between $30 and $40. That covers the cheap visual ideas. Number 3 brings us to a category most people skip because it feels too obvious. Wood. Specifically, dark-stained pressure-treated wood. This is the workhorse option almost nobody installs anymore because everyone defaulted to plastic, and that's exactly why it stands out now. A pressure-treated 2x4, 10 feet long, is $6.48 at Home Depot. That's 65 cents a foot. Half-log edging in 3-foot pieces is $14 per section, which works out to about $4.66 per linear foot. The transformation comes from the stain, not the wood. Bihar Premium Semi-Transparent Stain in Dark Walnut is $49 a gallon, and 1 gallon covers between 200 and 300 linear feet at 2 coats. Chocolate brown or charcoal black work just as well, and they read as designer choices instead of construction lumber. And here's what most people get wrong about pressure-treated pine. When it's rated for ground contact and installed properly, it lasts far longer than its reputation suggests. Long-term testing has documented installations going 30+ years without failure. So this isn't a 5-year fix. It's a one-weekend, $100 project that holds for decades. Wood does most of what people want from edging, except for one thing: wood doesn't grow. Which brings me to number 2, the only living plant on this list, and the closest thing to magic in this whole video: black mondo grass. Botanical name Ophiopogon planiscapus nigrescens. At Home Depot, the online orchard's 1 gallon plant is $24.95. Smaller plugs from specialty nurseries run $8 to $15 for a quart pot. The leaves are nearly black, not dark green, black with a slight purple cast. The plant grows about 8 to 12 inches tall and the same wide. You space them 6 to 8 inches apart for a continuous ribbon, and once it's in, it's permanent. USDA hardiness zones 5 through 10 covers most of the continental US. Slow growing, low maintenance, evergreen. What makes it look expensive is the color. There's almost no other plant at this price point that gives you near black foliage as a continuous edge. 15 plants along a 20-foot border lands around $200. The impact is permanent. It gets denser and more striking every single year. All right, we've made it to number 1, and this is what professional landscapers install at their own homes and almost never offer to residential clients unless somebody asks for it directly: steel edging. The brand landscapers actually buy at Home Depot is Comet. An 8-foot section of 14-gauge black steel edging is $26.97 on the shelf. That works out to $3.37 per linear foot. Now go back to the HomeWise install rate from the intro: $3 to $9.38 per linear foot. You're literally looking at the entire industry markup in those two numbers. There's also a version called Corten steel, a weathering steel that forms a stable rust patina. EverEdge's Corten is rated for up to 25 years. The patina takes 3 to 6 months in a humid climate, up to a year in dry desert. It starts blue-gray and matures to a deep rust brown that designers love because it looks expensive and intentional. Installation is straightforward. Dig a shallow trench so the top sits about ½ an inch above grade, drive the included stakes through the holes, and run it along your bed. One person, a half day. A finish line so clean it makes the entire yard read like a designer was just there. So that's the 10. What ties this whole list together is the gap between what edging costs and what the industry tells you. The pro install rate isn't because materials are expensive. It's because labor is, and the markup is part of the business model. And edging does something specific to how your whole yard is perceived. A Virginia Tech study found that a well-landscaped home commands a perceived value lift of 5.5% to nearly 13% compared to identical homes without it. On a $400,000 house, that's $22,000 to over $50,000 in how your property reads from the street. Edging, more than any other single element, is the detail that signals care. One last thing. If you've been thinking about a bigger refresh out back this summer, the same logic applies to the rest of the yard: the seating, the lighting, the small structures, the plant choices. There's a very specific short list of backyard features that have been quietly blowing up this year because they look incredible and ask for almost nothing in return. No watering, no constant upkeep, no servicing. Those are the ones that turn a backyard into the favorite room of the house. I walked through 10 of them in another video. It'll pop up right here when this one wraps. Tell me in the comments which of these you're trying first. See you in the next one.